Welcome to Chat UFC, where fortunes are forged in the octagon. Are you ready to find out who's winning, who's worth your money, and how our exclusive Chat UFC model breaks it all down? Stick around, because we're diving deep into each fight with predictions that pay. Let's get ready to make some winning bets. Start a new segment here, Fight Matrix Program Breakdown, where I am going to go over some of the more specifics in our prediction videos. So first prediction video that I had put out was Amanda Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern. I gave out Mackenzie Dern at plus 165, and this is what I want to go over. These are the advanced model ratings that I like to look at. It compares the betting odds with the correlated win percentage based on the betting odds. So at minus 195, Amanda Ribas should be 63.3% chance of winning. Now, if you go down here, there are 4 different models that are used: ELO, K170, ELO Modified, Glico 1, and WHR. From my studies, I like WHR the most. So in this prediction, it does have Amanda Ribas slightly ahead of Mackenzie Dern on WHR, but puts her at 56.4%. And in some of the other metrics, it has Mackenzie Dern around 53, 50. In my opinion, this fight is a 50-50 coin flip. And just like in blackjack, if I'm getting a 50-50 coin flip, but I'm getting plus 165, essentially, if I win, I get blackjack, I'm taking that bet all day. So give me Mackenzie Dern. In her last fight against Amanda Ribas, she got beat on the feet. She's a different fighter now on the feet. We've seen that. And though she's taken some losses, she beat Lopita Godinez in her last fight. She had a tough fight against Amanda Lemos and got TKO'd by Jessica Andrade. But there are levels to it. Some of those fighters are a lot higher in level. Amanda Ribas had essentially the same problem. I think they are at the same level. I think on any given night, one can win over the other. I am just taking the odds, period, the end. Also, to note this, Mackenzie Dern was a minus 170 in their last fight. I don't think Amanda Ribas has gotten significantly better than Mackenzie Dern. I think they've both progressed well, but I think they're at about the same level. So give me that 65 points of value there. Okay, and our next one here, this one really stuck out to me. I did my breakdown video. Chris Curtis versus Roman Kapilov. I have Chris Curtis 55% chance to win this fight. The line is currently Roman Kapilov minus 256. Chris Curtis is a plus 210. At plus 210, if I'm looking down here now, again, these ratings, they're great. They are a great measuring stick. They're a way to see, like, hey, am I seeing things? Is there really value here? Like, what's the deal? And in my opinion, they can be off a little bit sometimes, but again, they're used as a measuring stick. So look at this here. We have Chris Curtis, his ELO K170 has him a 63.9% chance of winning. His ELO Modified has him as a 70.21% chance of winning. Glico 1 is at 76.03. My favorite one of them all, WHR, has 61.21. So his lowest is his WHR, which also happens to be, in my opinion, the best metric. But it has him as a favorite to win 6 out of 10 times. We are getting plus 210. Again, could be wrong, but everything that I see is just, it is eyeball test. He lost a split decision in his last fight to Brendan Allen. Okay. 5-round fight. He beat Marc-Andre Barriault. He beat, there was a no contest against Nasruddin Imavov. And let's take a look at Roman Kapilov. He wins a split decision against Cesar Almeida. Okay. He loses to Anthony Hernandez, respectable, and he beats Josh Fremd. Nothing there tells me that he should be a minus 265. This is all upside. This is all, in my opinion, what people have seen with their eyes, but eyes can be deceiving. I do think that Chris Curtis's style sometimes looks a little rough. Looks like he's standing in blocks of cement sometimes, and he's out there winging punches, winging hooks, but his style is effective. And I do think that at the line given at plus 210, this is my best bet of the night, because just I'm talking strictly in terms of where do I think my most predicted value is coming from. I think it's Chris Curtis at plus 210. I think if you run that simulation 100 times, that bet makes the most money, and therefore this is my best bet of the day and the one I did a prediction video on. So there you go, taking Chris Curtis here. Here we go, another one here. Trey Ogden versus Diego Moises. Gave that out at plus 165. Right here, it's got it at plus 146. I think I gave it out also at plus 145. Anywhere in that range there, I think is a good bet. Again, I have this closer to 50-50. And if we take a look at the rating systems down here, we have his WHR. Let's start with that, 59.96, essentially 60%. So we have, again, all 4 ratings models predicting Trey Ogden. And again, another thing to think about with is the ratings models get better with the more information it has. And here's another caveat, if the fighter is not over the hill. So that could be one thing we're looking at in the Chris Curtis. He's been dealing with some injuries. So potentially we don't see the same Chris Curtis and the rating system does not work because obviously it's based on past experience in fights. It does somewhat take into consideration, some of the over the hill. Are they, how are they, where are they in their career? But I've seen it does not do enough of a good job on that. I have seen before that, it'll have an older fighter who's fought everyone in the division and was elite at one point, a big underdog against an up-and-comer, and it's solely because, there just isn't as much on the up-and-comer, and the older fighter has a lot of good victories, but it's just where they're at in their career. It's not the case here. Trey Ogden is on, in my opinion, the ascent of his career. Don't care about age in this right here. He's a coach now. He's really starting to put everything together at this moment. And so when I look at these ratings, 62%, 63, 63, 59, and then Diego Moises is a 61% chance he needs of winning. We flip the odds here. I think Trey Ogden should be favored, or at least it should be even money. Again, in some books, we're getting plus 165. I've already placed bets at plus 165. So I have Trey Ogden. I would take him all the way down to plus 130. But this is a good bet. Another one where very intelligent fighter. Diego Moises, very explosive, great submissions, just seems to drop the ball in the bigger fights, can beat the lower level guys. Mitch Ramirez gets beat by Ludovic Klein, gets beat obviously by Benoit Saint-Denis. He's fought really high level competition. So we will see. This is a step up for Trey Ogden. But I also think it's pretty evenly matched, and usually Trey Ogden finds a way to outsmart and win those, and Diego Moises does not. Trey Ogden, plus 145, down to plus 130. If you could have got him at plus 165, you still may be able to on certain books, but in that range, I think you're getting value, and I do think he wins. Okay, so those are the 3 I've done prediction videos on. I like those, but let's go into the last fight of the night that I want to bring up. Last fight to talk about here. It's a women's flyweight fight, so handle with care is all I'm going to say. But here we go. To me, this is just a line that started pretty close. Ernesta Caracate, she was favored. I think what I was seeing was about a minus 180, minus 190. Her line got absolutely steamed. She's got the reach. She's got, the height, all of that. But again, we are dealing with a women's flyweight fight, and both of these fighters are coming in here off of one of them coming off the Contender Series, and that is Nicole Cagliari, and the other one lost to Diane Barboza in a unanimous decision. So here's what I see here. If you look at the ratings, it's not even close. Now, again, remember what I said. If there isn't a lot of information on the fighters, they're brand new into the UFC, take the ratings with a grain of salt, but still take the ratings into consideration because these are advanced metrics and they're basing them off something. So in here we have Nicole Cagliari, 84% on WHR, 88% on Glico 1, 79% on ELO modified, 74% on ELO K170. Even if these are not exactly accurate, to give Ernesta Caracate, coming off her opening fight loss to Diane Barboza, 7-3, to give her a minus 269 is what we call bananas. It doesn't make sense. That is all. Sprinkle a little bit. I currently have Nicole Cagliari. I have a unit at plus 220. Win or lose, every metric, everything is telling me this is Nicole Cagliari's fight. I've even watched a few other breakdowns and things like that, also picking Cagliari, but saying, I don't get it. You know, it seems like it doesn't make sense. Like there's steam coming in on Caracate. This happens in betting sometimes. You have a group or you have someone who bets reach advantages, who gets a tip, who's this and that. It is very easy to move lines in the UFC early on. I have bet NFL for years and years and years, and I have bet UFC for less time, but for about 5 years now. And I'll tell you one thing about the UFC that is unique. It's probably similar to, obscure men's college basketball and WNBA and sports like that. Bets from big players can move the lines, and we don't even know if that's where they're eventually going to settle. Sometimes they use the early action to place bets on the other side to get a better line. So just realize it is a smaller market, and the markets can be manipulated and moved to make it look like everyone's on one side. And in my opinion, this is either one of two things. They're betting because of the reach advantage and because it's her second fight in the UFC. I think there's some, there's some factors going on here that may be just like instant bet type of things. Like, one girl, it's her debut, and the other girl has one fight and she lost. The percentages of the girl who lost in the first one winning is 65%. We're betting her. And if they betted it minus 170, minus 180, maybe it's a good bet. But in my opinion, looking at the numbers right now as they currently exist, we have value on Nicole Cagliari. And I've already placed a unit on her, and I recommend you doing the same because I think there's value on it. I can't argue with it. There's a lot of experience with Cagliari down in Brazil. She looked great on the Contender Series. It was a close line against the Canadian girl, Corrine, and she dominated and got the submission. And honestly, I would not be surprised if we see a submission here. Ernesta is a kickboxer. She was a swimmer. She's athletic, but she's very long, and she does not have a lot of experience on the ground. And Nicole Cagliari snatches up those subs like they're going out of style. So give me Nicole Cagliari. Might even take that sub prop, but why do that? We're just taking her straight up. Like, comment, and subscribe for weekly betting predictions brought to you by Chat UFC.